And we're back. This is Social Views with Christina Wagner. I am Bella Vasta. Christina is down in Tucson this weekend, taking part in a convention with the landscapers. I have in studio Joe Manna from Infusionsoft. He's the senior content strategist, and let me just tell you, we've had some awesome conversations during break and before the show even started. He's speaking my language of Facebook and Instagram and blogging. So, Joe, tell us, there's been so much going on lately, with the Facebook engagement changes and people getting in this big uproar and Instagram having business pages.
Yeah.
Straighten it all out for us here.
Yeah. So basically what's actually a lot of buzz lately that a lot of people are discussing is Facebook page reach is actually decreasing.
So what is page reach first? Let's define that for everybody.
So page reach is essentially the people who have mentioned you at all on your business page, meaning the people who have commented, people who have liked your photos, the people who have mentioned you in a piece of content. So basically what that means in simple terms, it's the people that you're touching via Facebook. It doesn't necessarily mean that people are leaving comments. People could be touching you in many ways with your pieces of content. So basically, excuse me, what that basically means in terms of what a business owner wants to pay attention to is essentially what is actually happening on their page. Not just fan growth, not just reach, but actually what is occurring. Are there meaningful engagements? Are there leads being generated? Are there email signups occurring? Basically what's happening behind Facebook.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. So, I mean, people basically have been being up in arms for a reason or not so much, you think?
Right.
With these changes.
So there's been a lot of talk about the page reach going down, and there's also been a lot of discussion between a lot of major companies online. So one of those companies is PageLever, or PageLever, and what they maintain is actually the Facebook reach has been holding steady. Now there's another company online known as Social Bakers, and they've been alleging a 40% decrease in reach. So these two conflicting reports, and they are based on smaller samples of data.
So who do you believe, Joe?
Well, Facebook this morning, they just rebutted, and they have actually a statement on TechCrunch describing actually what's driving the reach for their business, and what's driving reach for pages. And actually what that's, so it's actually, it's up in the air, right? Mm-hmm. So here's my belief. I actually very much believe that pages need to be posting less.
Okay.
This is basically the takeaway.
Wow.
It's not about posting less to the point of once a month, but it's certainly not multiple times a day.
Interesting. Very interesting. So would you say once a day? Because it would be hurting your reach?
Possibly. So Facebook has to make the difficult decision among really several different factors. Whether your piece of content is shown in front of everyone else on your page. So what that basically means is, when the average user is not going onto Facebook to read commercial content.
Right.
The average user is going onto Facebook to read photos from their friends, updates, from their family, and then maybe other viral content. So, maybe there is a funny video being shared, or a photo of the president being shared, which this morning that dominated the Facebook
today.
feed.
I saw that.
So basically what this means is that post less. So the updates that you do post, make them more meaningful, make them more action-oriented, make them engaging in some way. Mm-hmm. I think I heard an ad over the break of uploading a photo and sharing it, to enter a contest. That's actually a lot more engaging than hitting like on our page to win a free iPad.
Right, of course. So, I mean, I'm thinking about this in my pet sitting company, Bella's House and Pet Sitting. So I post 3-4 times a day. Sometimes I only post once. I kind of came from the belief of I do it when I have something to say, like a natural relationship. Sometimes you have a lot to say, sometimes you don't. And I seem to have a pretty active audience. So I'm kind of confused now.
So here's the thing. Despite my views on this and despite what other studies are online, no page is the same.
Sure.
Every audience is unique.
Yeah.
And I think if your audience has been conditioned to hearing multiple updates, Facebook will actually provide you, those updates to be shown in their feeds.
Right.
Now, if you're seeing that your reach is decreasing dramatically, and it's actually decreasing significantly over time, that's actually a cause for concern for you to actually update that and to post less.
Gotcha. So tell me about this whole Instagram thing, because when you started telling me about it, my first reaction was, all right.
Yes.
Because I have my own. Go on.
Yeah. So there's actually two different pieces of news here. So Pinterest actually now has business pages. And what that means is that now they are heading into more of a commercial direction for small businesses. And what this means is that your content will now officially be seen. You're not just going to have to interact on Pinterest on behalf of you. You can actually operate as a commercial entity on Pinterest. And what this basically means, in terms of kind of where they're going, this will probably mean metrics will be coming out soon. We can start tracking the reach of our content, the click-throughs, and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually very easy. The only thing that you have to do is log right in, click on your name at the top, and verify your website. There's a button that says verify. You upload a file to your website, and you're done.
And I imagine capture your own personal URL for your business?
Yeah, so if you don't already have your own website, that is really the benefit of doing that, is that you are able to verify other entities with it.
Right. Grab that real estate, so to speak. Great. So tell me more about this Instagram, because like I said, I was really excited because I like to use it for me personally, but I'm kind of scared of it a little bit because I just want to make sure that it doesn't end up on my business page sometimes.
Right. No, absolutely.
But so now I have a way of separating it.
Yes. So now Instagram, they actually now have pages for businesses online, or for people online, really. Everyone can have these pages. Same way that you have Facebook.com/your-name or Twitter.com/your-name. What you're able to do is to actually have Instagram.com/your-name. What this does, it makes it actually really translatable, because if you said, what's your name on Instagram, and say it's Joe Manna. Now I can actually say, hey, it's just go to Instagram.com/Joe Manna, and you can access my Instagram. So what this means is that Instagram recently is rolling out a series of updates. So first it started with comments, now it's pages, and probably what's happening is the next step is going to be more metrics and possibly paid presence within Instagram.
So there's so much stuff going on. So Joe, if you had to rate each one, number 1, 2, and 3, which would be the most important?
Well, in terms of social networks?
Yeah.
So for social networks,
for a business.
Yeah. Well, very funny you mention that. So I have a differing point of view here, but currently I would say Facebook is very important. Twitter still remains important. And then Instagram is sort of in between because they are mainly content creation.
Okay, great. So, and would you recommend, I know a lot of people like to connect them all. So it goes from, it's like a gun shooting, goes from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter to, all this stuff straight across. What are your views on that?
I don't recommend that. So
absolutely.
Because here's the thing is that let's just pretend you had one person who actually follows you on all those networks.
Right.
It is incredibly annoying for them to see your piece of content 5 different times.
Yeah.
However, the best practice is to actually go in and kind of have a separate, unique message and post at different times across different networks. And to be able to experiment on that. Facebook is good about giving you stats and feedback. Twitter is not. Usually, if you say something great, it will just take off in terms of engagement, of tweets and retweets, and and favorites that are occurring. Whereas on Instagram, you could be repinned, but the metrics on that are very undefined right now in terms of measuring Instagram or measuring Pinterest.
Right, and I've always told in my coaching company that it's kind of like you have one subject, but you're translating it 4 or 5 different ways. Yes. So where I would show a picture of a dog sitting in the back of a truck and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is so dangerous, I would write a blog about it maybe and really elaborate.
Right.
On Instagram, I just post up the picture and be like, what? Tag it with wrong, tag it with dog, It's like a translation of this one event over those different mediums.
Right. So basically what your role is as a business owner, you have to take any piece of content and skin it multiple ways, which is exactly that. And that's actually the right way to do it today. If you really want to have the most impact, is take one piece of content and kind of put a different twist on it. So one, you're doing more of a narrative into a blog post. The other one, you're expressing sort of a point of view on Instagram. On Facebook, maybe you're doing a poll or asking people to share, to raise awareness against putting your dogs in the back of pickup trucks. So, I mean, within that, I mean, what it basically comes down to is that there's earned media and owned media. And what you want to basically do is be able to work on building up your owned media. Your owned media would be your own website.
Earned versus owned media.
Yep.
I guess everyone hears that. That's a great concept. I like that a lot.
So essentially what you want to think about is using your own blog as a vehicle for where all this content lives. So
it's like your library. It's your arsenal. It's the way that you can, as we were talking about, the sales line, Marcus Sheridan says, answer everybody's questions on your blog one by one. And you can use those to help sell or help engage or help just have a platform to be an expert in your community, right?
Absolutely. So you have to really have to get in the minds of your potential buyers. Now, again, I can go in many different directions here with this, but essentially, just think about what's on their mind. How would they find a business like yours?
Right.
And what are they really looking for? Right. Are they looking to buy, or are they looking to compare rates?
Right.
So one thing that you mentioned that you did earlier on the break was you actually kind of include some competitive info.
Right, and you give people what they want. That's the biggest thing I just learned recently. My brain's been exploding from it. You give them the answers to the questions they're typing in, because chances are people aren't doing that in your industry.
Absolutely.
So you just sit there and listen to the questions you get and write a page answering every single question.
Right. Now,
there's always something to blog about.
And here's the counter question to that is, are you losing any business because you're answering questions? It's a real question that people ask me. Well, I don't want to give away the whole, keys to the castle here.
It doesn't mean that because someone says, how much does it cost? You have to say, it costs X. You can talk about what that means and how cost derives. It's just fantastic.
And you can have a really good value conversation around what is the value of blank. And yes, you could be talking about money. But generally speaking, putting content out there and answering people's questions is actually building up your business and building up your reputation, which is important, especially for a small business. Gotcha.
Well, Joe, you have been absolutely phenomenal. Tell us all how, if we want to ask you some quick questions or learn more about Infusionsoft.
Yeah.
How can we get a hold of you?
So basically, I'm very, very active on Twitter, and I'm getting my site back up on the air, basically. So I'm Joe Manna on Twitter, JoeManna.
Another Italian, I hear.
Of course. And joemanna.com. You can always kind of find my stuff there. And I kind of go on these rants and do all this kind of stuff every once in a while. And if people want to learn more about Infusionsoft, which is an all-in-one sales and marketing software, they're also kind of my boss. They can just go to Infusionsoft.com. Or if you want, just ask me, or even Christina. Christina is also an advocate of Infusionsoft, and
I am now too. Now that the company is so charitable that it actually gave Bent But Not Broken, the wonderful charity we had on a couple weeks ago on the show, a free program. They donated it to us to help reach our followers. So thank you so much, Joe Manna, for being on with Infusionsoft. I'll definitely be following your tweets and asking you questions.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you. So next online here, we have two wonderful people, and perfect segue here, Joe. I know about them because they have a veterinarian hospital. We actually are blogging on each other's websites. Dr. Josh grew up in Tucson, spent some time working in New York, and then came back to Arizona in 2003 to purchase North Scottsdale Animal Hospital. Today, he manages the hospital's daily operations, but also participates in local community by sitting on the board of directors for Healing Hearts Animal Refuge and partnering with the Foothills Animal Rescue and other rescue organizations in the community. Dr. Josh has 3 kids, 2 dogs, and lives in North Scottsdale. Jen Sosno is his wife and handles much of the marketing efforts, and together they make a great team. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so glad that you're here. Tell us a little bit about North Scottsdale Animal Hospital and how you have incorporated social media into your business?
Well, having recently revamped our entire website, we've come to realize over the last several years that, clients are far more connected to their phones and to what's going on around them, both, as a way of finding information and contacting us. So in revamping our website, we've decided to really incorporate a lot of different social media avenues, everything from WordPress blogs to Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, even Instagram posts, pictures that we post to Pinterest, as well as YouTube videos and